More climate hypocrisy tonight. Thanks for joining me. I'm Chris Kenny. Alarmism, fear-mongering, sanctimony and rich people preaching climate action at the expense of working people. It's the same old global warming story. Former Senator, former Secretary of State and former presidential hopeful John Kerry is now the special envoy on climate change to US President Joe Biden. This is a bloke who has the carbon footprint of a small island nation. He and his millionaire wife have multiple houses, large houses, a yacht and a private jet. And they also have lots of advice for how the rest of us can reduce our emissions at an undefined cost. Speaking in Washington overnight, Kerry used the same old tactics to convince us that this cost and this pain would be good for us. He used fear.
The stakes on climate change just simply couldn't be any higher than they are right now. It is existential. We use that word too easily and we throw it away.
Yep, existential is a scary word. Politically inflammatory and scientifically ridiculous, but he used it anyway. It seems Kerry is determined to be the seniors version of Greta Thunberg. He also spoke to the Davos Gabfest online. He had to leave the private jet in the hangar. And he pushed the same message of fear, crisis and panic. And his evidence? Not scientific reports, not new climate measurements or data, no. Kerry shared with the world some hyperbolic, emotive and inaccurate green left journalism. I kid you not, an alarmist article that tried to use Australia's bushfires from last summer as Exhibit A for a planet in crisis.
You could see huge plumes of smoke when you saw these pictures from Australia's fires with, and I quote him, flame vortexes spiraling 200 feet into the air, passing New Zealand and stretching thousands of miles into the Cobalt Pacific. And in the end, Australia's fires killed dozens of people, destroyed 5,900 buildings, and quite likely, according to the best science, rendered some of the country's endangered species extinct.
Well, no word on those extinct species yet, of course. Flowery words, alarmist journalism. Next he'll be quoting the ABC. Always the exaggerated claims, never the follow-through or the facts. No mention that we've had worse fires, killing more people, doing more damage a decade ago, 4 decades ago, 6 decades ago, a century ago. None of the facts that put the lie to the scare campaign. Just scary pictures, scary words and pop science. Still, it got worse. The president himself also talked about an existential threat. And cop this, he reckons they haven't done enough in the US yet.
In my view, we've already waited too long to deal with this climate crisis. We can't wait any longer. We see it with our own eyes, we feel it, we know it in our bones. And it's time to act.
Time to act? Say what? How can he say that? Seriously. Here's what Barack Obama said 12 years ago when he won the Democratic nomination.
This was the moment when the rise of the oceans began to slow and our planet began to heal.
Yep, that was the moment that quelled the oceans and started the healing of the planet. And Obama then had 2 full terms in the White House, 8 years. And throughout that entire period, his vice president was none other than Joe Biden, as you know. What on earth were they doing? Biden had 8 years with Obama in the White House on this existential issue of climate, but only now is it time to act. These people are just so inconsistent, aren't they? So opportunistic. It's all about politics, not the actual issue, just the politics. Same here in Australia, of course. This is the state of the climate debate in the US, Australia and globally. This is why we should be very worried about our jobs, our power bills and our economy. These people will do anything to keep up with political fashion, anything except give up their own perks, and working people around the globe will pay for any of their mistakes.